Hey all, Yvonne S. What the freak? Literally, what the freak? Because I see a perspective, and it's funny now to me, especially being in a prison for so long, an internal prison, a mental prison, because of the abuse and the way I was made to feel, and felt like I had to feel that way. Felt like I didn't have a choice in how I felt. And gaining power and control over myself, my emotional state, my thoughts, my feelings, my words. Not perfect, by no means perfect. At the same time, willing to be in integrity and do my best not to hurt people, and at the same time, not have expected perfection of me. Because it's literally impossible in this form, in this reality as it is. So why are we having so much perfection expected of us? And at the same time, why are we tolerating so much bullshit from people as though we have to? Well, I mean, that's a whole series right there as to why and where it comes from and what have you. Long and short of it for me is the narcissistic abuse coming. You know how when you have kids and your kids are pulling a lot of the same stuff we did as kids. Apparently, people just didn't grow up and still pull that shit, and and throw the tantrums and make the excuses and the justifications for our behaviors, and people are still doing it. So it's just a bunch. I just picture all these toddlers running around, especially the ones running the world. Ugh. And everybody expecting that we have to cater to them. Why? Because that's what we were taught to do. We've just outsourced our free will to religion and government, okay? And why? Because they're keeping us children on purpose, mental and emotional children on purpose. Because then you're easy to control and manipulate and get what they want from you, which is your power, which we are perfectly capable of attaining and regaining and creating with. Because we're already creating our reality as it is. Whether we want to believe it or not, whether we think we are or not, your perception is impacting your choices, and your choices are how you got where you are now. So riddle me that, Batman. How is it that we got where we are? Well, I have a theory. I mean, go back as far as you want as to when we were threatened into essentially believing certain things about people with freaking more money and power that are impacting our choices and free will, by the way, which is our divinely given right to believe, think, feel, say what we choose. Our choices are our free will. Now, are there consequences to our choices? That's an interesting topic, because what are the consequences? And what are perceived consequences? So take a look at, I mean, really sit back and look at the shit show unfolding, okay? And they put shit on the news. They take a normal event, right? They'll take some event and turn it into this extreme fear tactic. And this isn't to make light of the fucking killings and shit that are happening. Question is, why has it been the same shit for so long and nothing has gotten better? If anything, it's gotten worse. People have gotten worse. Well, if people really believed in their God, then why are we following man's rules and not God's laws? Because man's rules clearly are not working. And they're simply, it's old. It's old story. It's a tale as old as time. Create a problem to get a reaction, and so they can come in and provide their solution. And we just follow for it, hook, line, and sinker. And it took me a while to figure these things out and realize just how much and why the narcissism is so prevalent and persistent and tolerated. And it's because we've been made to tolerate it by those that are in trusted positions of authority, that aren't leading at all. In fact, if anything, they're feeding the victim mentality. They're feeding the narcissism and rewarding it in a lot of cases. How and why is a whole story by itself. And we're outsourcing our free will. Why? Is it because they have made us so mentally and emotionally lazy, and also lack the confidence in ourselves, that it made us insecure and codependent on them, and therefore trickle down into the family unit? Maybe. And then threatened and abused and nuclear reactions and fear tactics, all to get us back in line, make us fall back into line in case we start to question, or in case we start to discover, hey, maybe there's something going on here that doesn't make sense. Because I was asking that since I was a young kid, because I was dealing with that in my immediate environment. And then I was doing those things when I became an adult because I had been taught them as a child. And yet I gave a shit enough about how I was impacting and hurting other people that I did something about it. I wanted to know why I was doing what I was doing. Why did I make that choice? What? Because most people are on autopilot and they're going around thinking they're free and making choices out of freedom of being able to make a choice. Sure, you're free. You can roam around this country and go do things and go to places and whatever. Do we really think that's freedom? And yet we have to ask permission to travel the globe by our government, other governments, and yet we're made in the image of God, and we are created by God, and God said to follow his rules more so than man's. Now, obviously, there's being a good person. Obviously, there's operating in integrity. That's the problem. The people running things aren't the ones operating in integrity, and therefore other people are not operating in integrity, and now our kids are being raised not to have integrity. Actually, and they don't even know who the hell they are because they're too busy being told who to be. Nobody's asking questions. Nobody's bothering to ask them what they want or teach them. Jesus said, be like children. Well, what do kids do? They're curious. They ask questions. They seek to understand. And because of this narcissistic bullshit that we've been made to tolerate, it's turned us into people that are disconnected and not asking questions and assuming we're right, assuming we know the truth about all this stuff. because the experts say so, because the pieces of paper and the titles and the degrees and the... Pretty sure Jesus was hanging with the unlettered and ordinary. And I know why now. Now, mind you, I know some brilliant people, experts, that have our best interests at heart. Not just somebody with some piece of paper, some title and some letters, because they care about others. Because anybody can go around in a white coat and speak with conviction. But what do I know? I only lived it. I only see it everywhere. And do we want to know? So that we stop unfairly assuming and projecting on other people. Because look at the level it's happening. All the way up the chain in this world. And people are sitting there trying to tell other people how to live their life, what to do, what's true and real. Man, if I had listened and I didn't go through what I did, I never would have figured this stuff out. So I am grateful that I was pushed and went through what I did. And why do we think what's happening in the world is happening? Do we think it's over? Do we think that COVID was just a passing thing and that was it? Guess we'll find out, huh? And hopefully we'll find out before it's too late to remember who we are and our power before it's completely taken from us, because we keep falling for the bullshit and not asking questions and just living in our world filled with the coping mechanisms, the distractions, the addictions, the immediate gratifications, the immediate fix, so that we don't have to think for ourselves. Do we not see this? Can we not see what's happening and how much we are doling out our power and our ability to create and manifest? And then people wonder why they're not manifesting. Well, what is manifesting? We're already manifesting all the time with our words. And the victim mentality is what is keeping people where they are, in the low vibration, codependent, insecure, in fear. And until we are willing to shift our language and so we can shift our perceptions and experience and feel what applying the words of Jesus and Buddha and Lao Tzu and all these people, wise people of their time, who demonstrated what it means to love. Because we've been lied to about what love is. Clearly lied to. Or people would be making different choices. People would be acting and behaving differently. And you know what the etymology of I just lost the word. There's just so much. Hypocrisy means to pretend. And again, this isn't about being perfect. This is about what are we willing to do about our situation, because it requires action, taking action and change. And most people are afraid of change. And there's a whole other topic as well. Why are we afraid of change? Because it's unfamiliar. Our vibration shifts and it feels like it's anxiety. When really staying where we are is what's keeping us in anxiety. Shifting our vibration can feel like anxiety, and there is a processing period, because the shifts and the feelings are so powerful that sometimes it takes time to recover as a lot of people out there know who are aware of these things. So when are we going to step up and be the creators that we're meant to be and have the accountability and responsibility? Kids are not being taught responsibility and accountability anymore. And then they become entitled. They're not made to do chores anymore. They're not made to they don't have consequences to their actions either. And I see it, and I see how it destroys lives and makes them drains on society when they become older. I know, I was there. Been there, done that too. And woke up and did something about it. Because ultimately, there are no excuses and justifications, although nobody's perfect. And it's more about owning it and being real. And stop playing small to protect other people's smallness, because then we both lose. Thank you, Mark England. Cosmic Giggle. The Cosmic Giggle on YouTube. Because there's a lot of BS being slung. There's, attorneys do what's called paper swamping, where they put so much paperwork on the opposing side that they will become overwhelmed and stress out and give up. Same thing's being done with the stories. All the stories. This means this. This means that. This religion's true. No, that religion's true. No, my religion's true. No, my truth is true. Your truth, your beliefs, whatever you believe to be true will be true for you. Don't try to make it my truth, because I know my truth. I know who I am. I know why I'm here. And I put in the work to do something to get to this place, because I gave a shit enough about how I was impacting other people and how I was affecting them by how I was behaving. So I did something about my behavior. And when we choose not to do something about our shit, we're going to automatically be a drain on everybody else energetically, because we have to look to the external. We have to have everything around us change before we're happy or before we can do something about it. When we have endless amounts of access to limitless amounts of energy through our feelings and through our choices and through being aware of how we're speaking and what we're feeling, and gain the control over that by going through our stories. And that's what we do. And that's what we invite and share, and we'll be putting content out in how to do these things, because it's simple. And I know what it's like to feel like everyone and everything has some agenda, some ulterior motive, or that people just want something out of you. At the same time, we do have a skin in the game. I've realized I used to give away shit all the time. I used to just free sessions, all that stuff. People didn't appreciate it, and they didn't apply it, and they didn't take it seriously. So there are some requirements to accessing certain content that we'll have, and at the same time, a lot of it's free. Enough is free, let's put it that way, that you can start to make changes and do things on your own to make changes in your life. And I'm sharing this because I'm alldone.com. I'm alldone.com with being projected on, with being judged, with people assuming their perception of me is accurate, and nobody asking and seeking to understand, because even a judge doesn't make a ruling without getting all sides of the story. And what is it that narcissists do? They character assassinate so that you so you won't listen to them. And you know, I mean, it's happening all over the place. So I'm just getting on here and I'm sharing who I am and why I'm here, and a lot about what I've learned through my journey to spare others so they can see the manipulation and the bullshit right in front of them. And one of the biggest things narcissists hate is that being exposed, because they're pretending. They're being hypocrites, blame shifting, character assassinating, trying to tell us what our reality is for us when we're the ones creating it with our beliefs. So what do we believe? Do we believe we're capable? Do we believe it's possible? What do you think the 7 deadly sins are? Look at the 7 deadly sins. It's because of not operating in integrity that it kills us. It's got nothing to do with God judging us. It's got to do with what it does to our energy and our power and how it impacts that. And if we don't become aware of it, what are we going to do? Our choices are ultimately going to kill us, right? So, like I say, I'm here for the people that feel like we've been made to feel like we have to tolerate this shit. That we have to cater to other people. Well, guess what? I grew the fuck up, and so can you when you choose. And choose what you want. I live your life. Live your life, do you. Whatever that is. As long as it's not hurting others. Let your freak flag fly. As long as we're not hurting others, have fun. Believe what you want, do what you want. That's part of it. That's part of the free will, is doing what we want and having fun and enjoying life. Because we were made to enjoy life. And yet we got everybody else pissing in our Wheaties and throwing sand in our sandbox. And we're tolerating it as though we have to. So, see you out there. Join the freak show, because we're going to be having fun and creating, and are having fun and creating, and desire that others join and have fun and create with us. Because it can be fun. We can overpower and overcome the effects of all this abuse that we've been enduring on multiple levels. Multiple levels. What is love? Do we know what it means? Unconditional love? That's real love. If it's got conditions, it's not love. It makes me think of that Princess Bride movie where I forget his name, and he's like, "You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Be the example of what it means if you know what it is." And I'm sure you are. I'm sure many are. Are we well intentioned, yet make excuses and justifications for our behaviors and just keep doing it and not change anything about it? Because that's not love. Because how many apologies do we need to hear before there's changed behavior? Anyway, thank you for joining again. Thank you for listening. Please come join the Freak Show. And we have freakout sessions and things that will help us navigate our life and our choices. Figure out why we're where we are, why we feel the way we do, why we believe the way we do. Because a lot of it's unconscious and we're not aware of it. So how can you tell a narcissist who's willing to do something when they become aware of how they are affecting others? That's how you'll know. Anyway, happy Freaky Friday.